Welcome in. This is game 16 preview of the Buffalo Bandits season. You got Trevor Hauer here. You got Tony LaMonica there for another episode of Banditland Boulevard, where the 11-4 Buffalo Bandits go off and play the the current sixth seed, Colorado Mammoth on the road. Tough house to play in. It's nicknamed the Loud House. We all know the Bandits' history in that building. Last time they played in that building, they won 13-11. So,
Yep.
with all these implications on the line, like we previously talked about over the past couple weeks, where the Bandits pretty much just need to win one game, and they pretty much clinch home field because, I mean, let's face it, you win this game, you have 12 wins on the year, you're easily getting a top 4 spot in the league with 12 wins. All you need is one win. You're going into a hostile environment, 9 p.m. face-off, coming off of back-to-back losses by 1 goal apiece. Tony, how are you feeling going into this week?
Well, this is going to have to be a reset button wake-up call for the Buffalo Bandits as they go into the Ball Arena in Colorado and face the Mammoth that we've been, so far, I think, in the last couple of years, have their number, but you can never take any game with granted. So you got to go in there, play the style that we've been trying to do, but also change a few things up because now that we don't have Chris Kluche this game, because since he's due to an IR injury, that calls up Clay Scanlon to fill the shoes. So hopefully we'd like to see how well he can do and bring that intensity vibe back into the offensive lineup and maybe bring a spark to maybe say Josh and Dane's little scoring drought, we may say.
Yeah, I mean, not really a drought per se, but definitely not playing up to their expectations.
Mm-hmm.
We've been obviously seeing the usual nights out of Dane Smith and Josh Byrne. Multi-points, double-digit points. That's all we've been seeing mostly out of those guys.
Right.
What you've been seeing lately is a lot of 7-point, 8-point, 6-point games.
Still
And I
not
know
bad.
probably some of the fans here are thinking, what are you guys complaining about? Those are still really good numbers, and we're not denying
True.
that. But I mean, Josh Byrne and Dane Smith are usually on a different level. They're usually on a different planet when they're out there. Almost seems like a down night when they only score 6 points or maybe 7 points. So, this is a building where conditioning is going to be key going into this one. You're playing in the Mile High City. That ball's going to fly. And, I think whoever's the last one standing gets to turn out the lights there at Ball Arena. It's going to be physically daunting on the two teams. Obviously, Colorado plays their home games here. They're more used to the higher elevation. But if Buffalo wants to win this game, prepare to sweat, prepare to be running your you-know-what off for an entire 4 quarters of the game. And believe me, we will get into that as we continue and really
Absolutely.
get into our keys to the game because, I mean, lately, we're just going to come out flat and say it. The Bandits have been playing in a bit of a funk right now. It reminds me,
Mm-hmm.
shades of last season, halfway through the year. You're losing by a goal to maybe Panther City. You're losing by a goal to maybe Vancouver, and you're like, man, if we just did this or if we just did that, we can get down to the nitty gritty with this stuff. I mean, against Albany, you score 1 goal in the second quarter. Or no, not wasn't the second. It was the third. If you score 1 goal in the third, you win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver, if you score 2 goals in the second, you win the game. So it's the little things that add up, but at least we know what the main problems are. And the main problems are we kind of talked about this a little bit on the post game. Way too predictable on offense. So if we want to jump into our keys to the game, I feel like we can do that real quick. We can jump into our
Sure.
keys to the game before we get into our players to watch because a lot of our keys, believe me, involve certain players. So I think we should jump into keys to victory. My number one thing, you got to get creative. Open the playbook up. Make it fun for the guys out there. And by
Absolutely.
making it fun, if they're scoring and they're having a fun time, Dylan Ward in the net is going to be questioning every single shot. Maybe create some plays for Tehoka Nanticoke. Maybe have a centering play with him, like you do with Dane and Josh. Maybe set up a great play with Chase Fraser. Like you mentioned, Chris Kluche's out, so we're kind of missing that lethal sidearm shot.
Mm-hmm.
Draw up a plan to get the ball to Clay Scanlon. Open up the playbook, have fun with it, explore your options. If the ball starts flying in the back of the net, Dylan Ward's going to have a mess of a time back there trying to pick up the loose garbage. And I mean, let's just face it. Colorado is 8-6 on the year. They have 6 losses for a reason. They've lost 6 times. The Bandits have won 11 games. Colorado's only won 8. So they are beatable. These aren't the 2022 Mammoth or the early season 2023 Mammoth anymore. The Bandits have gotten way more success against them since game 3 of the finals. They swept them last year. They only play them once this year, and it's on the road. It's still in a tough building. And, you go back and you look at this rivalry between the two teams. Colorado, it doesn't matter how good or bad they are, they always give the Bandits headaches in that building. And it's always that back and forth type of trap game in the Rockies. So my number one thing is get creative with the playbook, have Colorado guessing, keep them guessing. What move are you going to make? Are we going to pass it here? Are we going to shoot it here? Because it cannot just be the Dane and Josh show. Can't.
That's right. And also for a fact that, like you said, to be creative, I did have a thought in mind about what the key was, and then I just completely lost it. So I'm like saying to myself, oh, now I got it. Win the small battles.
Yep.
After the shot, get to the loose ball first. Win those tough battles into the corners, and, let's keep our offense as long as possible out there to get the defense and their goaltender tired and to really make them keep guessing. But again, with the creativity, I get that you want to be fancy. I get that you want to get that sweet-looking one-timer or fancy behind the back shot, but keep it simple. Because when you have to go up against a team like Colorado, they are a workhorse of a team. They will not stop until there's a whistle. And that's the same thing what we have to bring to their house. And that's what I think the Buffalo Bandits need to do, is to play equal or even better than them. So win the small battles, like win the face-offs, get to the loose balls, and stay in your enemy's territory as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean 100%. Any small battle can mean, loose ball in the corner, maybe picking up a rebound, the ball's on the ground, scoop it with 2 hands instead of 1. I mean, just some of the little things that, maybe the Bandits have been lacking over the course of a couple weeks. My other key to the game was go back to what was working in the first 7 weeks of the season, the first 7 games. I mean, you guys looked untouchable. Whatever that was, whether you have to go to film, and watch some of those replays. I think part of it is, part of the reason why you really can't go back to that is the league has pretty much figured out the Bandits, and they've kind of exposed you over the past month or so. But go do the little things too, just maybe whether it's going back and watching film, look what got you to first place to begin with. Look at how you're absolutely dismantling teams through the first 3 weeks of the season, and teams that were kind of hanging around 500. I mean, you got Rochester, who's in a playoff spot now. You blew those guys out twice. Ottawa is kind of hanging around middle of the pack. You blew those guys out by 11. Philadelphia, I mean, I think they're on a franchise-long losing streak right now, but you dismantled those guys when they had a great start to the season. Obviously, something was clicking. Is it too cliche to say just go back to your style of play? Because you guys have not been playing like the Bandits over the past month or so. Go back and play your style of play. And I really don't know how to describe it. The approach is a little bit different. Take the pressure off. Does that make any sense? It felt like in the first 7 games of the season, the Bandits played with no fear, no repercussions, no nothing. Ever since that first loss, it's kind of felt like they've been playing with a little bit of weight on their shoulders ever since that San Diego game, and they really haven't looked the same. While they have been winning games since then, and they've gone 4-4 since the 7-0 start, so they've won 4 games since that first loss. It just it feels like they have a weight on their shoulders that they really can't lift off. In the first 7 games, they were playing fearless. They had no extra weight on their shoulders. They were just playing their game. So can I just be cliche here and say one of the keys to victory here is just say, play your game. Play like the 2023 Bandits. Play like the second half 2024 Bandits. Play like the first half 2025 Bandits.
Yeah, I mean, after, like you said, going 7-0 and they had a rhythm going and it doesn't seem like anything was going wrong, whatever happened to that after that first loss? Did you guys forget to how to play the game, or did you guys feel like unconfident about yourselves? No, you obviously tried something a little bit different and it wasn't working. So now you have to really think about it and actually go back in time. It's time to go back to what you guys were doing in those first 7 games. And regardless of who you played and not, but you cannot take any team too lightly. You have to go in there with your head up and keep moving forward, and you have to win those games by any means necessary now, basically, if you want to maintain home field advantage or get that home field advantage. So go in there to Colorado and just outplay them. Be like, hey, you're our little brother. We're the bigger brother. We're teaching you the lesson, not you teaching us something.
Right. And you have to know, I think going into this game, Colorado has a lot to play for. Being in sixth place,
But they're injured.
they are just on the inside of making a playoff spot right now. They have a lot to play for. They have an entire playoff spot to play for. So Colorado's got a lot to play for going into this week. Bandits need to know that and understand that. But on the flip side, the Bandits also have a lot to play for. They've had a lot to play for over the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
One win gets you a home quarterfinals matchup. I want to say that again. One win gets you a home quarterfinal matchup. So both of these teams are going and playing with extra motivation. Do not let, for the third time, because if you do this a third time, it's baseball, you strike out. You lost to 7-7 Calgary, or what were they at the time? 6-6 Calgary Roughnecks, or 7-6, whatever they were at the time. 7-7. You let a 7-7 Vancouver team beat you.
Yep.
Do not. You cannot. There is no excuse. Zero excuse for an 8-6 team. I don't give a crap if they're at home or if they're on the road. An 8-6 team going up against an 11-4 team. There is no reason explaining that an 8-6 team should be more motivated than an 11-4 team. Zero excuses. And if you lose a third game within the span of what, a month and a half, probably, teams that are hanging around 500, that ain't a good look, especially with, after this week, you got 2 games to go. Bandits have to be motivated. They absolutely have to be more motivated. They have to want it more than Colorado does.
Yeah, they sure do. And especially with now, after a 2-game losing streak, this is the longest losing streak we've had this season. And going into Colorado, you got to play pissed off. You got to be angry, not only at the teams who beat you, but you got to be angry at yourselves for not playing the game that you've been playing this whole time. So find that rhythm again, smarten up on defense, help your goaltender out, and just win the small battles to win the game. Each take one quarter at a time if you want to put it in terms that way. Let's do, win the quarter each quarter at a time. You win the quarters, you win the game. Set it enough like that. That's basically how you got to do it. I don't care if the score is 8-7 after one quarter. If you're winning on that side, you're doing something right. So I would say, protect Vincent, whatever you got to do defense. Keep their offense at bay because they've obviously have some pretty key players that are injured and hurt, but there are other guys that are stepping up and filling in their shoes. The same thing's got to happen to us too, especially with losing out on a powerful left-hander like Chris Couchier. You've got to step up and you've got to start putting the ball in the net. End of story, end of line. You've got to be the next one to step up.
And Tony, how do you win every single quarter? You have to win 15 minutes plus another 15 minutes plus another 15 minutes plus another 15. 15 plus 15. Yep, it's 30. Plus 15. Okay, it's 45. What's 45 plus 15?
Another, that's 60.
4. 15 times 4. 60. Full
minutes.
60 minutes for the love of God. Play a full 60 minutes. If you play only 45 to this Colorado team in the Loud House, you're not winning. Sorry. That's just how it is.
No.
You're not going to win if you only play 45. Last week, you played 35, 36 minutes, and you lost by a goal to Vancouver. Mostly this season, outside of maybe the first 3 games, and Tony and I sound like a broken cuckoo clock saying this, outside of the first 3 games, the Bandits have been consistently playing 45-minute to 50-minute nights. They've had that. They've always had that one quarter where they either go scoreless or they score 1 or they take a shit ton of penalties. Cannot have that going into this week. You need to play a full 60 minutes. That goes into my final key to the game. The penalties. I mean, I
Oh
don't know how
God.
many times I'm just gonna keep saying it. Hopefully that the penalties are gonna go down, but I think the Bandits have to be one of the most penalized teams in the National Lacrosse League. I'm just gonna keep saying it until they finally do something about it. And hopefully a blue moon happens where the Bandits don't take a stupid 5-minute major or crap ton of twos and set up a power play for the other team, because Matt Vince is one of the best goalies out there, no, without a shadow of a doubt. But you got to feel for him when the Bandits are killing off 7-8 penalties a night. He's not gonna stop, and he's not gonna stop every single shot. You're not gonna hold them 8 for 8 on the penalty kill. It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
So the penalties absolutely need to stop, and you need to play a full 60. Those are the two most important keys to the game going into Saturday night.
Yeah, I agree. And the way that we got to do things is that you got to stay humble. Don't talk back to the refs. Don't even talk smack to the opposing team. Just once you score a goal, you can celebrate with your teammates, but be professional about it, because they're going to be looking for anything possible to throw that arm up and blow the whistle and call your ass to the box. So Don't do anything foolish. Think before you react. I mean, if it's obviously where a player on your team is getting mauled by 1 to 2, maybe 3, then obviously you have to jump in and help. But other than that, if it's one-on-one and the guy's trying to chirp at you, smile back. Kill him with a smile. That's the phrase we want to say. And do it just like that. That means they're not getting under your skin. You're obviously showing them you're not afraid. If you smile back at them, it's scary when someone smiles back at you going, I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy, because he doesn't obviously think I'm offending him. He's getting angry, and you can see him smile. So, guys, play smart. You guys know what you have to do. Just play smart.
Damn right. I mean, just play evil. You guys were playing evil the first 7 weeks of the season. Play evil
I know.
now.
Massacring
Play evil now when it truly matters. I mean, 7 wins in a row. Don't get me wrong. We will take that. That's the reason why we're in first place to begin with. But hey, come on. Show a little bit of that when it truly matters, when you're trying to lock up the first overall seed or maybe a first round quarterfinal matchup in Bandit land. These are the types of things that you want. If you want a great shot at a three-peat, you know how this team plays at home in the playoffs. I mean, just set it up. Just win one win. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get into some of our key players to watch. We always start off with the opposition. Colorado missing a couple stars. Eli McLaughlin is now a firefighter. Wouldn't you believe that? Isn't that crazy? Going back home, being a firefighter and back in his hometown. So he's not going to be in the lineup. Zed Williams, torn Achilles. He's going to be out for a long
for the rest of the season.
So, yeah, Zed Williams, the Salamanca kid who scores 4 or 5 goals a night whenever he plays the Buffalo Bandits. He's not going to be in the lineup. Is there blood in the water for the Bandits? Sure, naturally, there's going to be some blood in the water, but there's also blood in the water for the Mammoth as well, as the Bandits are missing Chris Kluche due to injury. But hey, Clay Scanlon's back in the lineup. Players to watch for Colorado, though. If I'm going to start off, I'm going to start basic. The guy that usually plays very well against us, maybe not in the last couple years, but Dylan Ward, the netminder for the Colorado Mammoth. I think that he has what it takes to, he usually plays his best lacrosse against the Buffalo Bandits, and you don't know which Dylan Ward you're going to get on Saturday night. You're going to get the one that stops every shot, or are you going to get the one that we've seen in 2024? Are you going to see the one that we get in Game 3 of the 2023 finals? Are you going to get the Colorado Mammoth home game Dylan Ward, where he maybe stops 3 of the first 10 shots on goal? And you're like, oh, man, we are just embarrassing the living hell out of this guy. You don't know which Dylan Ward you're going to get, but you got to be on your A game no matter what. Dylan Ward has what it takes to hold the Bandits down to 10 or to under 10. We've seen this before. Absolutely my number one player to watch, Dylan Ward.
Yeah, shots have got to come from the heart for our Buffalo Bandits offense against Dylan Ward, because like you even mentioned, it's like a light switch. It's either he's on or he's not. When he's on, he's just like Matt Vince. They're dialed up, and it's impossible to score a goal against him. And he just finds ways to save the ball from getting into the net. But if you find him being off, take advantage of every situation that you can, especially against Dylan Ward, because Dylan Ward's one of the elite goaltenders in this league. And if you don't find a weakness in him and you don't exploit it, he's going to have your number the whole night. And I think the Bandits offense is going to be going, okay, do we take a jump on an early lead and tail back? I don't think you tail back against these guys. So you have to beat their defense, which I'm going to talk about now. One guy in particular, and that's going to be Warren Jeffrey. Jeffrey is one of those guys who is the toughest SOBs on Colorado's defense. And I'm going to say that proudly because he is time and time again shown he doesn't take anybody's crap, especially the Bandits offense. He will get in your face. He will let you know if you're going to want to earn that goal, you got to have to go through me first. Warren Jeffrey is one of those tough guys that you literally have to shake from his shoes to even get a remote chance of scoring. So what the Buffalo Bandits need to do, and this is probably a key to victory, probably to break that defensive line, let Clay cook, if we may say. Let Clay Scanlon cook and get these guys pissed off at him and not worry about Dane and not worry about Byrne and not worry about Chase and Toka. Let them get them shots as much as possible. Let Clay be like a thorn in their side and really get under their skin. And I think Warren Jeffrey, though, will help the defense for Colorado, but he does have weaknesses too, like most.
The thing about Warren Jeffrey is that he plays with no fear. I remember the St. Patrick's Day game in the KeyBank Center. He went and instigated a fight with Steve Priolo. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He found the toughest guy on the Bandits roster and instigated a fight with him. And I think Steve Priolo ended up winning the fight, but that just shows you that Warren Jeffrey has no fear. And he will go after your toughest guys no matter what. He's going to go after your top stars. Mm-hmm. He's going to lay the big body checks. Warren Jeffrey is definitely up there for me. Another guy, this time on the offensive side of the ball, who plays the Bandits very, very well every single time the Mammoth square off against the Bandits. Ryan Lee. I mean, he is the go-to guy on the offense now since you saw the departure of Eli McLaughlin going back to Canada and Zed Williams obviously getting injured, tearing his Achilles. Ryan Lee has been the next man up, and he's been potting in goals like crazy. Obviously, not as much as a Zed Williams would, but he's a great compliment, and he's a great guy that can fill in his shoes. He's had some great success against the Bandits, and he's going to be that thorn in Matt Vince's side. He's going to be going for the top shoulder. He's going to be trying to carve up that defense. We don't really know the status on Cam Wires yet, but he's going to be going after some of those top guys on defense like Paul Dawson, who's had a rough couple weeks in a row. Same with Dylan Robinson. If he plays, we'll see if he actually plays and doesn't get a suspension for his hit last week.
Right.
And Zach Belter, who's kind of had a down year too. He's going to be exploiting him as well. So defense, I guess these keys to a victory never really go away, but I think the defense needs to be, gung-ho. You got to be like the Great Wall of China. You got to be like the Pittsburgh Steelers steel curtain out there if you want to hold Ryan Lee and hold him down to a 0. I don't think you're going to hold him down to a 0, though. You're going to have to last resort limit him. You limit him to 2 or 3 goals. I like your odds at winning the game because I do think the Bandits offense is overdue to have an explosion of a night, just where the ball just keeps falling in the back of the net. If you hold Ryan Lee to maybe a 2 or 3 goal game, should be able to win that game.
Yeah, I agree. But the top scorer for the Colorado Mammoth with 30 goals and 52 assists this year so far, 12th in the league right now, they're going to look to him to lead the charge against the Buffalo Bandits. So if you can limit his abilities to do the jump across the crease and try to be a fancy shooter, go from one side to the opposite side to go against Matt Vince. But Ryan Lee's one of those guys that creates plays and finds a way to score regardless of whatever spot that any goaltender can try to defend against. But that's one key thing that the Bandits defense has got to stop is make sure he does not get those easy dunk goals or, get to the crease type goals. You got to limit him to keep him to the outside as much as possible.
That's right. And their face-off guy, Tim Edwards, look out for him too, because Connor Farrell just came off of one of the best weeks that he's played. I think he won well over 60% over the Vancouver Warriors. So he's coming off his best week. He's riding into this weekend high. You got to watch the opponent in the face-off dot. Tim Edwards, going one-on-one with Connor Farrell. It's going to be
The
tough to
milk.
see. I don't know if you saw on Connor Farrell's Instagram story, but looks like he possibly shaved the locks. Did you see that? That
Yeah,
maybe I don't know if we're going to be getting a bald Connor Farrell or what we're even expecting, but I know that the long locks are gone. So
they're gone.
he might be turning into more of a menace than we thought Connor Farrell could be. The
It's going
long hair was
to
a staple. He doesn't let that be a distraction anymore. I can tell you that. If
be.
he's shaving his head and the long Thor-like locks are gone, he means business. He doesn't mean style points. He's looking to win every single face-off. It's going to be interesting to see during the anthems what his new hairstyle is going to be like. I really haven't seen a picture of it, and he's been doing a good job on his Instagram, not really showing his new hairstyle. So
Nope.
we'll see.
No.
We'll see what happens with Connor Farrell, but he could be a man on a mission. But yeah, Tim Edwards for Colorado, getting off topic here. He has his good weeks. He has his bad weeks. He had a horrendous night against Saskatchewan. The whole team did, but Tim Edwards was getting dominated in the faceoff dot against Saskatchewan. Could have been one of the reasons why they lost 17-12 last week. And we always go back to the keys to a victory. I cannot believe we keep doing this. But we have so many keys to a Bandits. You get a lot of these when the Bandits are on a 2-game win streak. You're really not used to seeing these. But Colorado's going to come in pissed off. They gave up 17 goals last week. That's just extra motivation for them. Be ready for a pissed off attitude. And I don't think they're fully over the 2024 championship yet. I think Colorado really wanted to go back-to-back, especially against the same team. Bandits spoiled those plans. Not 2024, 2023.
Yes.
They wanted to go back-to-back in 22 and 23 against the same team. The Bandits spoiled that plan, and they haven't gone back to the championship since. I know that they're still really pissed off at what the Bandits did to them. So they got all the motivation in the world. But I think it's time to start looking at some of these Buffalo players now.
Hell yeah.
In case you didn't get the spoilers from the very beginning of this show, the number one key player to watch is the fill-in for Chris Cloutier. And we saw the fill-in for Chris Cloutier early on in the season, especially in the home opener when Chris Cloutier didn't play, scoring his first goal as a Buffalo Bandit in Banditland. Clay Scanlon, the number one player to watch for me going into this week, without a shadow of a doubt. I think Tony says it all the time, he is a physical water bug. He's a carbon copy of Kyle Buchanan, but he plays with more of a physical smash mouth style. And he is a water bug nonetheless, though. He's going to be dancing around the crease, but he'll be laying out some big checks. He's a little bit of everything. He's like a power forward, more so like an early career version of Alex Ovechkin is kind of what Clay Scanlon is. Someone who's not really afraid to lay the body check, but if his number gets called, he's going to be scoring some goals.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy who, even in small in size, but he plays a big role. So having him back is going to really upgrade a little bit on this offense, I think. And I'm not saying it without disrespecting Chris Cloutier, but with the fact that Clay Scanlon, he's one of those irritating little kids who I want to play. And when you get his chance to play, he is out there and making a ruckus out of the opposing team, thinking, what do we got to do to shut him up? There is no shutting up Clay Scanlon because he's out there and he makes a statement every time he plays. And even though the points, because it's his first year, and the same goes for Lucas Nielsen. They're out there playing a limited amount of games, but he makes the best of it. He goes out there and he gives it all. He doesn't quit. He doesn't stop. And it's scary to opponents when they see that, especially from a guy who's first year calling going, who's this guy and why? What the hell do we do? Yep. Clay Scanlon's the answer. And I think that's a great idea too, especially for these final 3 games, to bring him in and really shake the opponents up. So maybe that might get a little bit of weight off your top stars. They might be open more. They might shoot more. They might have a clear view of the goaltender. Thank you, Clay Scanlon. That's all I can say.
And with the physical threat that Colorado is, I'm really just curious in general to see how Clay Scanlon plays against that type of physical team. And, it can only be a positive thing because the Mammoth have never faced against this guy. They really don't know what he's about. That could be dangerous for those guys. They don't really know what to expect out of a guy like Clay Scanlon. Rochester sure didn't. Neither did Ottawa. And Clay Scanlon on a couple of those plays embarrassed the living hell out of them. So it could be a very similar thing for Colorado, and Clay Scanlon can really exploit that.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Clay because of the fact that he definitely has something to prove, I think, not only to himself, but to earn a rightful full-time spot, maybe for next season, So this would be probably the opportunity of a lifetime to be tested here against one of the best in the game, with Colorado Mammoth coming, even though they got their injuries. And I'm not saying that to be excuses for Colorado because they got their go-to guys that are stepping up too as well. But for Clay and his career for the Buffalo Bandits, this game is a must step up, and let's see what you can do scoring-wise and the physicality at the same time, because that's going to be a tough test for him. But for you, that was probably one of the best picks I would have picked. But I'm going to go with my guy, and that is going to be Mr. 91, Kyle Buchanan. A guy who scores average of 2-3 goals a game, but it's not just the consistency of him scoring that many, it's his game style to get to the loose ball. Now, the way that the offense is going to have to keep clicking is because of him. And the reason to keep setting up plays in the offense, what he does for this team to spark up the offense and to keep it going, Kyle Buchanan is going to be a huge part to get to those loose balls and continue the offense to stay on the field as long as possible for the Colorado Mammoth defense to be overthinking and for their goaltender, Dylan Ward, to overguess every shot that comes to him.
Buchanan's been lethal. And why should that stop against the Colorado Mammoth? I think that's a great pull. Just go with the guy who's got the hottest stick on the floor. And I think that has been 91 over the past 3 weeks to a month. Let me go with this one.
Okay.
Breakout. Because we really haven't seen it all year. I don't know if he's been playing injured or what it is, but he takes a beating every night. Give me a big night on a Nanacoke, dude. I mean, I'm very curious to see how Nanacoke comes back from this. We've been seeing a lot of 1 goal a night games out of him. He started off the season with a bang. He was having these ESPN goals, these goals where he's twirling, doing 360s, shooting the ball from his ass right outside of the crease and going top shelf. Where is that Tehoka Nanacoke now? Mm-hmm. We need to see that Nanacoke from the first 4 games of the season. If he comes back, if that Nanacoke comes back and that Buchanan is clicking and Scanlon is doing a great job filling in for Chris Kluche while he's out, all on the home stretch in the final 3 games of the season going into the playoffs, your team's going to have new life. Your secondary scoring is going to have new life. Your team is going to be scoring way more goals than they have been over the past month. I think it starts with your focal point here. Number 1, Tehoka Nanacoke. If we see a multi-goal night out of him and he starts clicking in these last 3 weeks, look out for the rest of the league, especially who the Bandits would be facing against round 1, because when you get that secondary scoring clicking, oof, man, you only got 5 guys out there on the field to prevent the Bandits from scoring. But when all 5 of those guys can go out there and score, rude awakening. And it's something that we've seen in the history books, especially in 2022, all the way up to 2024, when the Bandits have been consistently going to the championship final. So we've seen time and time again, the last 3 games of the season is when the secondary scoring really starts to pick up, and that bleeds into the playoffs, which is great. It's great motivation for the team. I think the secondary scoring, the heartbeat of your secondary scoring is number 1, and he needs to be on his game.
I mean, even though with the 3 games remaining and for Tehoka to do what he's got to do, I mean, he's still possible to get to 30 goals for the season. He's at 18 at the moment. And I think if he really wants to have a breakout game, this is it right here. If Tehoka really goes back to when he first started, the super fly through the crease, making you overthink, finding a hole into the goaltender's equipment or to find a way to the net, that's the Tehoka he's got to go back to. He's got to find his roots again. Sprinkle a little water on it, let it grow, and watch the goals come, as we all know he can score. As of right now, he has 32 points, 18 goals, 14 assists for this team. He's roughly around a 50-point per season guy, but we're looking for Tehoka to break out to 75 points, maybe to 100 if he's really on fire. And that's what I think he's trying to push himself to be, is just like Josh Burton, just like Dane Smith. Right now, 1 and 3 on the scoring list in this league so far. So if Tehoka really gets on his motivation, he could be dangerous as well. And that
Easily.
not only 1-2 punch can end up in a 1-2-3 knockout if the Bandits really have Tehoka spark up that little scoring spree. Let's see number one on the score sheet a lot more than we see other players on this team do.
Yep. And we can see Dane and Josh, but they know what they need to do. They just need to prove it on the field. They know what they need to do. 22 and 92. We know they know.
Mm-hmm.
They know what's expected of them out of the fan base. They know.
Absolutely.
Defensive wise, I mean, I'd love to see a better game out of number 6, Paul Dawson. I don't think that's too out of the ordinary. Going up against his former team, I think that's definitely something that we're going to be watching because Dawson didn't have a good week against Vancouver. So he's got a chance to redeem those faults, and it's coming at the expense of his old team. So we could have the chance to see that, and I'm very excited to see what that would be like.
Yeah, Paul Dawson, the man who has more block shots than that I can count. He's like the Jay McKee of Buffalo Sabres. I mean, you put him
Ryan Campbell.
and you put him and you help Matt Vince keep the ball from entering that net. I mean, we need to see the Paul Dawson we saw last year in a way. Hey, you're having a slip up. I get it. Not everyone's perfect. I understand. But we need the Paul Dawson of the 2024 championship run. That's the Paul Dawson we need. When you first came in, you said, oh, yeah, I'm coming back another year. We're going to do it again. This is the Paul Dawson we need to wake up now. This is what we need to have him do, is be the guy with the block shots. We need him to be more tougher because it seems like he's I don't want to say cement feet, but he's getting schooled in the last few games. He has. I'm not saying that he, like I said, he's not perfect, but it's starting to show. So it's now time to be more strategically, like situated wherever you're placed on the floor. Play more stationary in a way if you have to, and let them make the first move. And when they exploit, you jump on it. That's what Paul Dawson does.
Absolutely. I think now let's get into our score predictions because we can talk about last week's performance.
The other team.
I just gave the wrong city. I had the right score. I just said the wrong city won. I said 13-12 last week. Bandits would win. Vancouver came out with a 13-12 victory. We don't do moral victories or half victories here. That doesn't count for anything. It only counts if I had the right city and the right score. So we have to think about this again. Man. Dude. Colorado, Buffalo.
Don't say trap game. Don't say trap game because that was trap game last game.
You know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just took the words right out of my mouth. You know exactly what it is. I mean, every single matchup outside of maybe game 3 of the finals.
Yeah.
In this team's history against the Mammoth, they've been back and forth and very, very close. So, we got to go. You know what? I'm going to be that guy, Tony.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going to say TG because you already said that. I'm going to say the other thing. Crucify me all you want. But 9 o'clock, Ball Arena.
Yeah.
The Bandits will drop their 5th game of the season. The Mammoth will take down the Bandits 14-12.
Ouchies.
This has been an ongoing trend with this team, man. They lose to the teams that are hanging around 500, maybe around the 6th, 7th, 8th seed of the playoffs. Why change? Why would it change now? Unless the Bandits want to prove me wrong, but I just such a hostile environment. Burn me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me again. I shall not be fooled 3 times. I'm picking Colorado.
All right. Well, I'm going to go on the winning track here because after losing 2 straight, they're going to play with a lot of motivation, and they know they got to get that win. And, yeah, they're going into an environment that obviously we're already recognized, but I got faith in our guys, and I've got faith that we're going to come home for our final home game for the season, and we're going to go on a winning note. Bandits, 13, Mammoth, 10.
I like that. I like that a lot better than my prediction.
Yes.
Hopefully that happens. Hopefully that
I hope
happens.
so too. It's not going
I'd
to be
love to
easy,
see it, but
but
no, absolutely not. It's definitely not going to be easy. No, but you guys know what you're supposed to be doing.
that's it.
You know what's in store. So,
I couldn't agree more.
Man, playing in Ball Arena, House of Horrors. It's been over the years. But that's it. Hey, man, go out there and play your game. I might not pick you to win, but hey, maybe that's the key to your success. Maybe I should pick against you guys. Because last time I did, you remember what happened, Tony?
Yeah, they
Last time I
demolished
picked
you.
last time I picked against the Bandits, it was the Ottawa game. They won
That's
by 11.
right.
So
Who would have thought that?
so you know what? I'm picking Colorado. I'm just gonna keep saying that. Picking Colorado. See what the Bandits are gonna do about it. What are you guys gonna do about it? Use
I
that
don't
as your
know.
bulletin board material. Come on now. Do it. But hey, big game coming up Saturday with
9 o'clock.
home field implications on the line. Big night coming up, Tony. Come on.
We'll have to wait and see. All we can do is watch.
All we can do is watch, and it's gonna be a great night. But whether we win out, lose out, or split, maybe go 2 wins, we're always gonna end the show with these 3 simple words. And Tony,
Well, we can't end the show just yet.
Wait. Do you see what we're wearing? We need to
Yeah.
show the fans what we're wearing.
Yeah. Well, I was like, wow, you're jumping the gun already. I was like, what?
What are we wearing? What are we wearing?
Well, first and foremost, let's just say this. Guys, whoever you all are, and I know who you all are, who showed up to our main sponsor, and thanks to the lovely owner, Nick, who gave us these hats. Our main sponsor, Bandit Land Boulevard, is brought to you by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, the turnout for the Josh Byrne autograph signing was awesome. You guys represented. You showed your love to Josh Byrne. He showed the love back to the fans. And I hope you guys stuck around for some great food and the amazing service that was there, who absolutely killed it. I'm wishing I could have gotten a T-shirt from there because that was sick. I mean, they had the Bandit logo in the front. They had the Mitchell's Tavern in the back. That would have been nice to have too. But, guys, if you haven't tried it out yet, mention the boys from Banditland Boulevard, Trevor Hauer over there, myself, Tony LaMonica, a.k.a. Boxhead98TL, saying go check it out.
I can attest. I can attest to that. I had the pulled pork sandwich last
Trevor
night.
tried some food there, and I definitely had food there because I was very hungry, and it was delicious. So please go and check it out.
And
guys,
a Yingling flight courtesy of Tony LaMonica, too. And a Yingling flight. I said, and a Yingling flight courtesy of Tony LaMonica's bar tab.
Hey, I'm a classy dude. What can I say? Also, we'd like to thank Herney's Journeys. If you guys want to book your next vacation or cruise, please contact Suzanne Pike at SuzannePike@Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. Also, guys, we'd like to thank those who have been watching us live here today on StreamYard, complimentary by YouTube. Give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell every time we talk about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. Let us educate, and please, by all means, fans, if you guys want to be on the show, please contact Trevor or myself. We would love to have you on board to answer any questions we could give you, or answer any of our questions. We'll answer any of your questions. And to those also listening in on your telephone, your tablets, your computers, your radio, on Spotify, give us that 5-star rating, and to talk about nothing but the orange and black Buffalo Bandits lacrosse.
Big stuff. Yeah, dude, the Josh Byrne signing was awesome yesterday.
It was an amazing job by the crew. You guys did awesome. I
planned it out
very
strategically, though. I waited in my car until 7 o'clock and then waited in line outside.
And there was about what do you think? About maybe $150 to 200 people?
At least. I mean, when I drove there in the parking lot, it was almost looping around the entire building, and I waited across the street in a 7-Eleven parking lot for the line to die down. Because I couldn't even find a spot to park in the actual lot.
Early. I went straight from right after work.
Yeah, but that was sweet.
Yep.
Josh Byrne signed Tony's belt.
Yes, he sure did. I'm going to definitely show it.
I took a pretty sweet photo with the belt as well. Dude, that was pretty freaking
I think the belt is a huge hit for everybody. So, kudos to that.
Check that out.
Nice.
Isn't that awesome?
everybody that was holding on to the championship belt. Now it's time for everybody else to sign this belt. So
yes,
you were the first.
Josh is the first. Hey, 2024 NLL Finals MVP. That ain't bad.
That's right.
But
That's right.
Now we shall end the show with these three simple words. Tony, what are those 3 words?
In the great Swenny's voice that we all love in Banditland. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go,
Bandits. Come on, guys. Get the win.
Trevor wrong. Let him say you're going to lose. I want to see a W to prove him wrong. Let's go.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's eat one like Jameis Winston. Eat this W. Come on.
Let's go.